What's good, everybody? This your boy once again, Jay Shaw from the Behind the Bench Network, and let's get straight to it. This video is talking about Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark, Caitlin Clark, Caitlin Clark. I made a video probably a couple weeks back before the season started, and all I needed to see was like the first week and a half of the WNBA season because, you know, they've been putting Caitlin Clark. They don't play, and first of all, let me say this, and I know they're going to get their rest, but what y'all got to understand, Caitlin Clark came straight from a whole college season. Fatigue is starting to kick in because this is probably the most basketball she ever played. So for her shot to not be going down is because fatigue is kicking in. Now, yeah, it's been a lot of rookies, and I've been watching the WNBA since the start in 1997. And I've been watching it every year. I've been following every player. A lot of y'all just started watching the WNBA this year. So I can say what I'm saying and know what I'm talking about. So with that said, yes, it has been a lot of WNBA rookies that came in and played right after a long college season. But Caitlin Clark is taking her team, for the last 2 years, she done took her team to the Final Four, to the championship game. So she's playing longer than a lot of these other players, right? Then she comes in, and it's not her fatigue is pretty much on how she's being guarded. She's being guarded, face guarded, 90 feet down the court, 40 feet when she don't even have the ball on the opposite side of where the ball is. That's tiresome. Then you got to play defense. Then you're getting hit all game. So anybody that says she's a one-trick pony and all she could do is shoot threes, or she's overrated, then you can't really evaluate what you're watching. And it's a lot of people out there. And then it's a lot of hate. Oh, she's a white girl, and she's the face of the league, and she's the greatest of. Come on. I watched Diana Taurasi. I watched her. She was my GOAT. She still is my GOAT. She still is my GOAT. I'm not saying Caitlin done passed her, but I watched Diana Taurasi. I seen how special she was because I live out here in California. So when she was playing at Don Lugo High School, I knew about her. I heard the stories of how she used to pull up from half court and shoot threes in high school. She couldn't do what she did in high school because she went to UConn, and Gino was not playing that, but she played with great talent also. When she got drafted to the Mercury, she had some talent on her team. Caitlin Clark don't have no talent on her team. Yes, they drafted a number one pick last year with Boston, but Boston is not. She's not showing me anything. She was too busy being on TV, and she got a wonderful smile, real pretty girl. Man, she got a gorgeous smile. But she was too worried about being on TV instead of saying, okay, I know I'm getting the number one pick. I need to start getting my game in order for when she comes. We both on the same link. That's not happening. Their team is terrible. Let me go ahead and say that. The team is terrible. They have no talent. But they will have the first pick, and they will be getting one of the best players in college basketball, coming out next year. And if they continue to be bad, then Juju going to be coming around the corner too. So, but Caitlin, it ain't that she can't shoot. Her fatigue is starting to kick in, and she'll get stronger. A lot of people don't understand, when you're a jump shooter, most of your shot comes from your legs. So if she's not getting the same lift that she normally would, it's going to affect her shot. What made Ray Allen so great at shooting threes, and even Steph Curry, they have the same jumping ability. When Klay stopped missing, when he started missing his 3-point shots and not being who Klay Thompson was, is because he had that knee injury and he can't get the same elevation that he once did, because it's all repetition on jumping and shooting. So if you're not getting the same level of height when you're shooting, then your trajectory is a little bit different when you're shooting from deep. Now, she can still get to the rim. She can get to the rim. Maybe she need to get to the rim a lot more, get to the foul line, but she's gonna have to embrace being the focal point. And this is what I need y'all to really understand. There's hate in the WNBA. Women are hateful. We already know women don't like women. They're hating. They don't want to be embarrassed. They don't want to be the person that Caitlyn done put 40 up on, 30 up on. And I'm going to say this. Caitlyn is the best player in the WNBA. A lot of people's like, how are you going to say that? You know, A'ja Wilson's destroying it. A'ja Wilson ain't getting the type of attention defensively that Caitlyn's getting. And when you're getting that type of attention defensively, then you're the best player in the league. They're not going to guard you if she wasn't that good, right? They're not going to guard you 90 feet, 40 feet, face guard you, where their only assignment is you just stay in front of her. Don't worry about scoring. Just stay in front of her. Don't try to deny her the ball. Just stay in front of her the whole game. Not even, you know, I'm talking about just face guard. Not even like, let me slack off a little bit and just keep her in my peripheral vision that she's close by. Nah, you got to be 2 feet up on her, 1 foot up on her. You got to grab her, get aggressive. Caitlyn will get stronger. Caitlyn, her legs is going to get stronger, and she's going to get stronger to be able to endure this WNBA season. But all this hate and all this is just competition. Man, I watched Maya Moore. Maya Moore came out of college, UConn. She didn't get treated like this. Casey Plum did not get treated like this. Candace Parker, even though Candace Parker was a post player, she was one of the first that could play inside and out in the women's game. She didn't get treated like this. Yeah, she might have got hard foul, you know, but it was a lot of more veteran women in the WNBA when Candace Parker got up in there. It's kind of like today's NBA, where you got a lot of young players that's veterans, but back then they had women that was in their 30s, that was in their late 20s back then. So yes, the game was played a little bit different. It was physical too, but they wasn't guarding. I didn't see Breanna Stewart, who's a perimeter player, get guarded. Della Dunn, they didn't get guarded the way Caitlin Clark gets guarded. The list goes on. You can look at what's the old girl's name from Dallas? Their guard, their star. She don't get guarded like Caitlin Clark, and she's putting up MVP type of numbers, but they're not guarding her the way they're guarding Caitlin Clark. So that's why I said Caitlin Clark is the best WNBA player in the league, no matter what her numbers is, because she's being guarded in a way that ain't nobody else being guarded. And that's just what it is. If you really watch WNBA and you watch all these other games that just ain't Caitlin Clark, watch how their star players, Diana Taurasi ain't being guarded the way, and she's a veteran, but she can still put up 30. She's not being guarded the same way. I watched Diana Taurasi. She's my GOAT. She's never been guarded the way they're guarding Caitlin. And it's because Caitlin is the college basketball greatest, women's college basketball greatest scorer. She's putting up 30. She's putting up 40. You know, she's hitting 6, 7 threes. She's catching and shooting. And let me say one thing. Her teammates, y'all, man, if y'all don't start taking up for the money, if y'all help her, she's going to help y'all make more money on the team. Even if it ain't somebody, let me put it like this. Michael Jordan came into the league. People was hitting him up. Guess who stopped that? It was a guy named Charles Oakley. Charles Oakley, he said, man, y'all ain't going to be putting no hands on Mike. And he was his enforcer. It needs to be somebody, if you want to stay in this league, in the WNBA and get paid, you need to be, somebody needs to stick up and be her enforcer. So anytime she gets bumped, you up in somebody else's face. And it might take a couple of y'all, but if y'all do this, she's going to help y'all get money. She's going to help y'all get paid. You're going to have a spot on that team. Even if you're not even that great of a player, Caitlin's going to make sure to the ownership, I need her on my team. She takes care of me. You see what I'm saying? That's what a lot of y'all got to do. You can't just be letting the money hit the ground all the time, because if she gets hurt, let me go ahead and keep it frank, man. Y'all Fever team, y'all got a lot of great players. I done seen a lot of open, Caitlin give y'all an open shot and y'all too hesitant to shoot, or y'all open and y'all miss. Wide open. Don't nobody want to talk about that. Or she makes the hockey assist. Don't nobody want to talk about that. And it's always a missed shot. The coach ain't adjusting. She won't be the coach too long. They will get somebody else up in there because she's not adjusting to get Caitlin better shots off the ball. She's not running her in picks. And, you know, I don't know why why Boston and Clark ain't doing a high pick and roll. If Boston could hit that pop, she could hit the pop. Why they ain't running this? That should be an unstoppable duel. I don't know what's going on with the coaching and why the coaching ain't adjusting to Caitlin. She knew Caitlin was coming. She should have had some plays set up for Caitlin. Even though even though Boston was the rookie of the year, who's going to lead your team? Is it Caitlin or is it Boston? Boston better take a note from Karl Anthony Towns and know who's going to be buttering the bread, because Karl Anthony Towns had a team that was his team for the longest, and then he had to say, you know what, Anthony, it's your team, dog. I'm going to sit back and just ride. I'm going to ride shotgun, and you go ahead and do your thing. Boston need to be doing the same thing. She need to be riding shotgun and say, you know what, Caitlin, I'm not going to even trip. You're going to make more money. You're going to make me more money if we start winning. You're going to make me more money once you start scoring and once you start doing what you do best. Because the thing about Caitlin, she can make other people better. She took a team that didn't have no talent. She had no talent. Took them to the finals, to the NCAA tournament finals 2 years in a row. So she can make teams better, but it's kind of hard when you're being guarded all game, every game, 30 feet, 40 feet out, face guarded, 90 feet, without the ball in the hand, and it's just crazy. She's being grabbed. The refs ain't calling it. I don't see this in other WNBA games. If you could give me some examples of some other WNBA players and tell me what game that they was being face guarded when it comes to the superstars of the league. And I want to hear about this rookie. Oh, she's a rookie, and all these other rookies. No, it's a lot of hate. They ain't got nothing to do with they was not doing this with the rookies last year. They wasn't doing this with Aaliyah Boston. They wasn't doing this to these players last year. They wasn't doing it to the players before. There's a lot of hate from these women. I heard women talk about before they even played one game this year, they was already hating. And they want to know why they only getting these type of attention because they was allowed to do this stuff. No, you was allowed to do it too when you was in college You just couldn't do it. You couldn't do it to that level, because if you was able to do it on that level, then when you got drafted, they would have allowed you to play your style regardless. And I don't watch every rookie come in that's came in as a great player, and their rookie year, they didn't have no, oh, it's going to take time to get adjusted. No, they came in balling. That's just what it is. This is WNBA. This ain't the NBA. That mindset of how it is in the NBA is different from how it is in the WNBA. It's two different games. Diana Taurasi came in balling. Maya Moore came in balling. Candace Parker won Rookie of the Year and the MVP. Breanna Stewart came in balling. Della Dawn came in balling. There's so many others came in balling. So just know this is just women hating on women. They ain't trying to get showed up, and it is what it is. But I want to leave this little video, man. What's good? I wanted to continue talking about Caitlin Clark, because since the news came out that she was not going to play on this USA Olympic team, I had to really put on a thinking cap and ask myself why. And like I said in the video that I made about her not making the team, I didn't add this, and it took me a minute to understand. They went with a veteran team, right? Some of the names that a lot of y'all probably don't even know, right? And it's a lot of hate. Those veteran players are very jealous of Caitlin Clark because she's being crowned the best female player, and her game speaks for herself. If you really know basketball, if you really understand team and what she brings and what she can do. You know, I seen the WNBA player that gave her the cheap shot. She said all she does is shoot threes. Nah, she's a great passer. She just don't have the teammates to pass to. She's a great passer. She's she could score. You know, what she probably needs to do is not shoot better quality threes. Let me say that. I'm not gonna say she needs to slow down shooting threes, but you know, she could do a little mid-range and she could score inside. But this is the problem, and this is what a lot of people ain't saying. Those veterans that's on the USA team, one of the reasons why they don't want her on that team is because it's gonna mess with their money, right? You gotta understand, a lot of these women, they play overseas. So this is the perfect opportunity for them to get endorsements from overseas companies for the countries for the leagues that they play in and the countries that they play in. If they're not playing on that USA team, they don't get the market and they don't get those endorsements, which is more money. So why would they want her to come in and then she starts taking all the endorsements? See, this is little stuff that you're not going to hear ESPN talk about, right? You're not going to hear other WNBA players talk about, because, you know, it's this whole, I like this person likes me, I'm not going to talk bad about this person. Hold on. Yeah, bottom line is they don't want her to take the endorsements from those other countries, because she will be playing overseas and she'll be on one of these overseas teams. She ain't gonna just stay on playing just in the WNBA. She'll play on one of these teams, and that's what I believe. This is my opinion, but when you really pull back the layers and you really think about it, yeah, these players, they get endorsements from these other countries to advertise products out there. And if Caitlin is on that team, then it takes away. And like I said, the players ain't got nothing to do with the coach, ain't got nothing to do with those players don't want her on the team. Those players is jealous. Those players is saying, well, she already getting all this money, so she don't need to be on this team. We need to get this money. That's what when it boils down to, it's all about money, people. It's all about money. It's that and them being jealous that she's being called the face of the league when she hasn't won anything. But like I said, hey, I'm not saying that some of these players couldn't win or take a team from a no-name school that was not traditionally known as a powerhouse in women's college basketball. But if they would have went to like Arizona State and took the team to a Final Four, they'll be getting the same type of pub. They would have got the same type of pub. But when you're playing on stacked teams, it's kind of hard to evaluate how great a player is. Yeah, the leading scorer is always going to get the recognition, but it just makes you think how good, Breanna Stewart or Diana Taurasi or Ionescu, if they play, and Ionescu went to Oregon, but they had some players later on, that got drafted that came out of that Oregon, but she's the only one they didn't go to like a major powerhouse school and dominate, right? When Oregon was here, they dominated. Remember, they got the pub. Oh, it made people tune into Ionescu's rookie year. Everybody forget. Oh, they team almost beat the Olympic team. You see what I'm saying? And the only reason why she's on that team is because there's no more Sue Bird. And she's a pure point guard in the WNBA, right? She's the future point guard, so they need to have her on that team. But some of those other cats, they didn't want them to lose that. They didn't want to lose that money, man. And I'm just going to call a spade and call it for what it is, man. And it's cool because at the end of the day, Caitlin Clark will have the last laugh. She'll go down as probably one of the best, the leading scorer. She'll break Diana Taurasi's record. She'll probably win as many championships as Breanna Stewart. So at the end, so when at the end of the day, she's still going to be probably considered one of the greatest women basketball players of all time. And that's just what it is. And it ain't, oh, I'm just a Caitlin Clark fan. I'm just calling it straight up how I see it. You see what I'm saying? You just got to call it straight up how you see it. You can't just, it ain't got nothing to do with being a fan. Just call it for how I see it, man. If she's good, she's good. I'm a basketball fan before anything else. And if she's good, she's good. Period. Like I said, my GOAT for the longest was Diana Taurasi. She's a white girl. She's an Italian. She was my GOAT. Her, Candace Parker, my favorite women basketball players of all time. That's just me. No shade at Maya Moore. No shade at Breanna Stewart. No shade at them. And I like their game, but I just gravitated more to Diana Taurasi because of her flair for the big moment. Candace Parker, same thing. And how versatile she was as a player at her height. Play inside, outside. And that's what it was. So I just wanted to add this to the video that y'all just seen and speak something that they're not going to speak about, and they're not going to even, ain't nobody thinking deep enough to really understand why did she not make the team. It all got to do with money at the end of the day. But like I said, Caitlin Clark will have the last laugh. I'm out. What's good? I wanted to add something else to this video. I know I just been having a whole lot on my mind, and I had to really give y'all some more proof that what the USA team females are doing to hate on Caitlin Clark, there's a pattern that the WNBA, that the USA team constantly done did since 2000. And let's go down memory road. For those that have been paying attention to women's college basketball in the WNBA, the USA team, which I've been a fan of since the inaugural season. So I've been following all the Hall of Fame players, today's generation, players that played in the 2010s and 2008s. I've always been a fan of the women's game. But it's just interesting. A certain player named Shaniqua Holdsclaw. She played at Tennessee from 1995 to 1999. Number 1 overall pick to the WNBA. She was on the 2000 USA Olympic team. That team had nothing but veterans. Nothing but veterans. She didn't even play in those Olympics because she was injured. And they still kept her spot on the USA team. Why? Because Shaniqua Holdsclaw was the biggest thing in women's college basketball that we've seen probably since Cheryl Miller with the hype, right? She was on the cover, I believe, of Sports Illustrated, pretty much saying if it was a woman that could ever make the NBA, it would be her. You do a little bit more research about Shaniqua Holdsclaw when she played with Ron Artest and, Lamar Odom on traveling teams and stuff like that. She grew up around that time with them. She came up around that time. Elton Brand, I believe. Shaniqua Holdsclaw was that person. So let's go to the next phenom. The next face of the WNBA. Diana Taurasi played on UConn from 2000 to 2004. She was on the 2004 USA Olympic team. She also was a number 1 pick. Like I said in my last video, what made Diana Taurasi so great at a young age, it was the flair for the big shot, the big play. If it was a steal, a rebound, assist, a shot, Diana Taurasi had the whole game. She's still my GOAT. She's still my GOAT. I like Caitlin, but Diana Taurasi's still my GOAT. I still got to see a lot more from Caitlin before she could take over. But Diana Taurasi was the big star. And that team still had veteran players, right? So let's fast forward to the next Olympics. This is the 2008 Olympics. Who was the big star then? Candace Parker, number 1 overall pick. Tennessee from 2004 to 2008. Candace Parker was displayed as a once-in-a-lifetime talent coming out of Chicago. She's dunking in games, people. She's the only woman I ever seen dunk in a game in the half-court set. I haven't seen another woman dunk a basketball in the half-court set. Not on a fast break, but in a half-court set. She was on that Olympic team as a rookie. Let's go to the next one. This is 2012. Maya Moore, UConn. 2007 to 2011, she was on the 2012 USA Olympic team. Number 1 draft pick. I believe she won 3 national championships, or two or three at UConn. I can't remember. I want to say it was 3 national championships at UConn. Maya Moore was that female. But she was invited to play on that team. Why? Because she was a great talent and they need to market the WNBA, and we need her. They needed her on the team. They had other great guards at her position. I want to say Angel McCarthy was on that team. Simone Augustus, I believe she was on that team. Tamika Catchings was on that team. Like, they had good players. They had great players that was on that team, but they still needed to add Maya Moore. So let's fast forward another 4 years. It's 2016. Guess who's on that team? Breanna Stewart. She played from 2012 to 2016. #1 overall WNBA pick. See, what I'm telling y'all is hate. It's hate. Got nothing to do with, oh, she ain't played enough. Don't let these go along, get along gang females on ESPN. And I'm tired of mainstream media lying to fans that really know what's going on, that really know what's really what when it comes to the NBA and the WNBA. I'm just tired of being lied to the point I don't even watch those shows no more. I can't even watch the NBA no more because the commentators, the play-by-play, the people that follow the game, they just lie. They lie, they cover up for their friends. And for them to say that they wanted a veteran team, why? The women's game been destroying the world for years. It's not even close. It ain't like they sent a young team to the Olympics in 2016 and they didn't come away with the gold. So they said, you know what, we need to switch it up and we need to have an all-veteran team. Like I said in my last video, it got nothing to do with anything but money and jealousy. The hate that they got towards Caitlin Clark is ridiculous. And they can only blame themselves. The players in the WNBA, Kelvin from the Behind the Bench crew, he said it in his video. If males wanted to watch females with fades like us, that dress like us, that act like us, then we'll just watch the NBA. I'm not saying that you have to change who you want to be. But guys want to watch females play. And I'm not saying Caitlin Clark is a bombshell gorgeous. I'm not saying she's gorgeous. I'm not saying she's ugly. But she's a woman that looks like a woman that could ball like a man. And that's what guys are intrigued that watches the WNBA. The skill set, and they could just ball. They don't shoot like women. They shoot like men. They play like men. And that's what we care about. But let me go ahead. So you got the 2020 Olympics. Who's the #1 draft pick? A'ja Wilson, South Carolina. She played there from 2014 to 2018. She was on the Olympic team. So why is Caitlin Clark not on the Olympic team? There's no real reason. You can't say, oh, she ain't played enough. Who they're going to take a spot away? Whoever's not going to lead the team to being the face of a league. Because all those players that was #1, guess what they was? Even with A'ja Wilson, even with Breanna Stewart, those two that still play in this league, they're the faces of the league. When Diana Taurasi and Candace Parker played, they was the face of the league. When Candace Parker and Myra Moore played, they was the face of the league. When Diana Taurasi, first 5-6 years in the WNBA, she was the face of the league. So if you don't think Caitlin Clark in the next 4 or 5 years, especially when her team gets better, is not going to be the face of the league, then you just ain't been watching women's college basketball in the WNBA. Because patterns is always going to show you the truth. in the NBA and in the WNBA. And if you're good at recognizing patterns, the truth will come out. You can always see the truth. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video. I'm done. I'm not going to add no more to it. This is Shad from the Behind the Bench Sports Network. Shout out to the bench crew, Jermaine, Kelvin, Lawrence, Big Dog. Check out our videos. Subscribe. Turn on notifications. Share the videos if you like what we're talking about. Until then, I'm out.